Well, good morning, guys. Welcome back to Linger Longer crew. My name is Stetson, and you guys haven't seen anything from us for a couple of months. So if you've been following the channel, you'll notice we posted a couple of videos in 2023. We launched our channel in 2023, and you guys haven't seen anything for like 4 or 5 months. So I kind of wanted to take you into the studio here and give you guys a little bit of an update of what's going on with Linger Longer crew, talk about 2024 and all of the exciting things that are coming our way this year, and kind of get you guys caught up to speed. So without anything else to say, let's share this cup of coffee and we'll get into it. So, what's going on with Linger Longer crew? Well, a couple of things and some big updates. So, as I said in the intro, you haven't seen anything from us for about 4 or 5 months. Our last video that is currently posted was the Bald Eagle State Forest video, which was about 4 months ago. And there's been quite a bit that's happened since then. So we had a couple of trips at that point that had already been planned for the fall. We had a trip planned for Vermont, and we had a trip planned for Sproul State Forest. We actually did do both of those trips, but we ran into some, shall we say, technical difficulties. So, first off, Sproul. We are so disappointed that video didn't work out. We, for those of you who don't know, Sproul State Forest is about another hour-ish north of Bald Eagle State Forest. And it's another very extensive trail network, very beautiful, lots of gorgeous like rivers and mountains and some valleys and some fantastic overlooks. And we picked it, like, it's a further drive, so it's a little bit more of a time investment to get out there. And so we picked, like, that's going to be perfect for the fall. And they have elk there, so we were hoping to find some elk bugles and all that sort of thing, which we didn't find, but it was still worth the look. But we shot this video in the fall, and it was fantastic. And we ran into some memory card trouble with our GoPro. So we shoot basically on 3 main devices. Tyler and I both shoot on the S23 Ultras, which is what I'm shooting this video on, like, right now. My wife, she runs the iPhone 13. And then for our adventure cam, we of course use a GoPro. And because of the excellent image stability and, motion tracking and all those sorts of things, we end up shooting most of our videos between the Galaxies and the GoPro. Well, we shot about 65 gigs of content on the GoPro. Keep in mind, these are like 30-second to minute-and-a-half clips, so we're talking a lot of footage. And when I got home after this beautiful trip, probably one of the most beautiful trips we've been on last year, everything was corrupted. I had audio distortions, I had image distortions, I had color bars flickering across my screen. Like, it was bad. And I spent about a month trying to get those files back, and I just couldn't get it back. It was so much work, and I had very minimal success. So even though we had good shots of the campsite and all that good stuff from the phones, everything that was like adventure related, trail cam, all that sort of thing, it was unusable. And I just couldn't get it back. So unfortunately, that's what happened at that trip. The Vermont trip, which was a little bit later, actually toward the end of October, I think the last week of October, in fact. That was more of a vacation. We were actually meeting my brother-in-law, my sister, and my father in Vermont, and we were just doing kind of like a vacation. It wasn't so much a adventure video as much as a travel video. And we put together, kind of a list of things and made a little story. And, I tried to put that together and share with you guys as well. But I just didn't have enough filler content because we're on vacation and, it was less film focused and it was more like sharing memories focused. So when you're not actually going out to shoot a video, it's a lot harder, at least at this point in our YouTube journey, to make video that's cohesive when you're not actually trying to do that. So that's kind of what was going on there. And so I wasn't able to put a video together. But Stetson, that only brings you to the end of October. Haven't you guys been out in November, December, January? It's the beginning of February, bro. Well, we haven't been. And that's been for a couple of reasons. So the main reason is we have had some pretty significant vehicle issues, though not necessarily with our Jeep Rebel, but a little bit there. So all of you guys know Tyler Long, I'm sure, if you've watched any of our other videos. He's been running a great Chevy truck, but he had some very serious engine issues pretty much right after our Sproul State Forest run. And they were significant enough that it required him to get a new vehicle. So he has spent the last couple months finding a new vehicle to drive and getting that ready to go, which we're very excited to unveil to you guys, but I'm going to leave that for him to share with you, and that will be another great video when we get that going here. But he's been spending the last month and a half or so getting that vehicle adventure ready, and as of right now we think it's ready to hit the trails. So very excited about that, but because we very strongly believe that it's safe to travel in a group rather than alone, that has kept us from going out. Not to say that solo trips can't be done, and we've certainly done them, but when you're actually like not sure what you're going to run into and you're exploring and you're trying to find cool stuff, not going to somewhere very well, things like that, we do advise that people go in a group, and we're no exception. We try to follow our own rule there. It's just much safer. So because we haven't had someone to go with, we have also not really been going. That leads to the issues with our vehicle. So right before the Vermont trip, Rebel had an oil cooler replaced, just because it was starting to show some signs of some overheating, in the engine. Nothing serious, but it was like, yeah, we want to get that addressed. No fault to the installer. We use Mount Zion Off-Road. Thank you guys so much for all you do for our baby Rebel. We are so appreciative of you guys. But they went and they installed the oil cooler and everything was fine. Actually, the Vermont trip went super well. We drove all the way up to Vermont and back. Had no issues until probably a day or two after we got back. I noticed a stream of oil. A stream, like a river, coming from underneath the Jeep. I was like, oh no. Well, the part was defective and it cracked. Something that can't really be helped. It was a faulty part. Because of how booked out Mount Zion is, they weren't able to get me in for about 2 or 3 weeks. And so I obviously couldn't drive the Jeep when it's dumping oil. So we had to get that fixed. And then registration for our Jeep was due. And we're Coloradans, so emissions has to be passed every 2 years, depending on the year of your vehicle. Some it's every year. For us, it's every 2 years you have to pass an emissions test. And when we did our emissions, I had faulty catalytic converters. I mean, Rebel's got some miles on her, never been replaced. So we've got some brand new cats coming in. Nice exhaust update from MagnaFlow. That's pretty awesome. We're excited for that. They'll be installed hopefully February 13th. So just a lot of lead time, but because it's not legal to register your vehicle without the emissions test in Colorado, I also can't update my registration. So that means, strictly speaking, even though Rebel's running fine, it's not legal. So I can't drive her. So we have not been driving Rebel. And until we get the emissions test passed, we still won't be driving Rebel. So hopefully on the 13th, everything will run through hunky-dory, we'll be good to go, and we can hit the trails hopefully by the end of February. So that's kind of the goal. So what does 2024 look like? That's an excellent question. I wanted to give a shout out to, let me make sure I get this right, Pennsylvania Forest Adventurer. You posted on our last Bald Eagle video about a month ago saying, hey, hope you're going to make it back out to Bald Eagle. And you said we should check out Moshannon and Roth Rock, which I will look into. We will be back to Bald Eagle in 2024. There's a lot of great trails that we have yet to explore. We'll also be back at Sproul because we're definitely going to be reshooting that video because it was stunning. That might be another fall trip. We might hit it up in the summer as well. Depends on time. It's a little bit more of a time investment, like we said earlier. So that's just something that we have to balance. We've also done some conversation around doing a New York trip up in the Allegheny. That could be very fun. I've had a couple of experiences in New York. They've all been fantastic, but we haven't really checked out the off-roading scene there. So that will be very fun. We're looking forward to that. We've also talked about possibly doing a couple of trips in the Virginias. We've had several sources and recommend that possible approach for us. So that is also in the works. We'll see whether or not that happens, but we are talking about it. Once we get both of the vehicles up and running, we're going to be doing a shakedown run in it's skipping my brain. Michaud. We'll be doing a test run in Michaud. It's close to where we live. It's easy to get what we need. If something does happen, it has pretty good access. There's still some fun areas where we can go and test things out and make sure everything's working properly before we go on any longer trips. Always do a shakedown run, folks. Always do a shakedown run. If your vehicle has been out for any amount of time or you have any serious work done, do a shakedown run. You don't want to be 8 hours away from anything and something go wrong. So that's definitely something to consider. So we're going to do a shakedown run there. Also, some of you guys may have seen our Tuscarora video, which you may have also noticed was taken down. We removed it. We had a ranger reach out to us and say, hey, some of the things you did in your vehicle, one thing specifically, was not strictly legal. And we took that down because we don't want to, propagate anything that's less than legal. We care highly about ethical off-roading, highly. And the Rangers were awesome. They were telling us, it's very clear, the type of videos you shoot, the content of your videos, this was clearly a mistake. They gave us a warning. We got that all taken care of, and we've been working closely with the Rangers out there to just figure out what the best way to do certain things is. So we're looking forward to maybe even having a partnership with them at some point, and we'll see if that's something that pans out, but that would be really cool for us. There's just a lot of differences between the East Coast and the West Coast, and there's just things that we as West Coasters see that we translate differently than East Coast off-roaders. And, that's not an excuse. It's just hey, we're learning. So we have been taking some time to make sure we understand more fully the scene in the East Coast as well. Because we want to do it the right way. We love nature and we love, sharing it with others. And we want to do that in a way that's responsible and legal. Great conversation there. We're very excited. But with that said, we have to shoot another Tuscarora video for you guys. Oh, gosh darn it. So that will be very fun. The other thing we have been talking about is there's a couple of off-road parks out here, Roush and AOAA. Both of those look like some really fantastic areas. We're more used to going out and just finding trails and running them from the West Coast perspective, but it looks like there's some pretty cool stuff down at these off-road parks. Actually, Mount Zion Off-Road, another shout out to them, they actually do some coordinated trail runs, which we'll be looking into just to kind of see what that looks like from a cost perspective and, you know, a time perspective and all that stuff. And who knows, maybe we'll be able to join them for one of their runs to AOAA or Roush. There's a couple of Jeep Badge of Honor trails, actually, at those parks. So it'd be fun to add a couple of badges to the door. So that's also something that we are talking about, and it's in the works as something that might be happening. So yeah, 2024 should be a really good time. We're looking forward to a lot of new adventures and sharing all of that stuff with you guys. If you guys have any recommendations, all of you locals, like, hey, there's a great trail out here, you should check it out, please leave it in the comments. We'd love to look at those and kind of see what your favorite places are to go out here. And we have plenty of space on our calendar and our schedule to add a couple of trips to maybe some of y'all's favorite places. So feel free to drop that in the comments below. We look forward, as always, to hearing back from our community, and we can't wait to see you guys on the trail. Thanks for tuning in to this update video, and we will catch you guys later. And don't forget to linger longer.